Welcome to Reiki Banashi, a podcast where we talk about Reiki in a simple way. I'm your host Innina, practitioner and teacher Shihan of Jikiden Reiki, traditional Japanese Reiki. And through this space, I offer you reflection, shared experiences, and inspiring encounters around Reiki. Today, I have the great pleasure of welcoming Mari Okazaki. Mari is a Daishihan teacher in Jikiden Reiki, and she divides her life between Goto Island in Japan and Canada. She organizes congresses and seminars with Tadao Yamaguchi Sensei in Vancouver, Canada, where she also interprets for him from Japanese to English. She is also the official point of contact for the Jikiden Reiki Institute in North America. Mari has had an intense life journey. A life-altering event deeply marked her path, confronting her with post-traumatic stress disorder. She had the courage to speak about it publicly in a deeply inspiring TED Talk. And so this is why I have to give you a little heads-up trigger warning. This episode addresses sensitive topics related to trauma. So if you're going through a difficult time or if these themes particularly resonates with you, I invite you to listen this episode gently. Please take care of yourself. Feel free to take breaks if needed or skip the relevant part. You'll find the chapter in the episode description. We also talk about her encounter with Reiki, how this practice helped her with PTSD, and her deep commitment to sharing this art of healing. I am delighted and honored to share this conversation with you. So make yourself comfortable and let's get started. All right. Ohayo gozaimasu, or konbanwa, actually.
こんばんは。
Marisa, yokoso, and welcome to Reiki Banashi. So it's a great pleasure and honor to have you with us today. And o genki desu ka? How are you?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm とっても元気です。Thank you.
Ah, so yeah, I mentioned a bit before, but we actually never met in person, right? Like
That's
we,
right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
but that's
First
going
time
to
we met.
change soon, yeah?
Yeah. Right.
And we are connected on social media, so it feels a little bit like we already know a bit each other, as
Mhm,
you
mhm.
always share beautiful content, stories, and music too, as you play the piano, right?
Right, right. That's right. I just post whatever I feel like it. So,
Which is great. Like we feel really like being connected to you that way. So that's
that's
how
great.
I feel that I almost know you already.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so, as I mentioned in the introduction that is recorded beforehand, you are a Daishihan of Jikiden Reiki.
That's
And
right.
so you teach in Canada and Japan, right?
Japan.
So you were in Canada, but you moved back to Japan, so or
That's
something like
right.
that.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth right now.
Okay, okay. So you're based now in Japan, or you will do also a bit of back and forth?
Yeah, yeah, both feels home now. Oh
Mm,
yeah, still go back and forth. Half of
mm,
my family is in Canada, and
right,
yeah, so yeah, and home is in Canada, but this is my home too. So
right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, I feel
see,
you. Yeah, when we feel home in so many places, we need to go
hmm
back and forth, right?
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Right. Okay. So maybe to begin with, could you share your Reiki journey with us? Like, how did you first discover Reiki and what drew you into it?
Yes, so direct reason I started to do Reiki is to help my son when he was baby.
Mhm.
But indirect reason is probably started with my father, who
Mm.
passed away in a young age. He was 39, and simply he had the fever and then went to the doctor and the hospital, and then that medication was wrong for him, and he had uh, like allergic reaction to it, and he passed away within 10 days. So yeah, so
Oh,
that's the beginning. If I look back, And
Mm,
so my mother raised us with the open to natural remedies and
mm,
eat well at home, look after yourself at home, and laugh a lot. Yeah, so we
mm.
were always open to natural remedies.
Right.
And then, yeah, and when I started to have a family, and I always wanted to look after my family natural way. And yeah, so when my baby, second son, was born, and he faced a physical, like a health challenge, and then
Mm,
all the doctors I took, they just prescribe the medications, right? And I thought, I don't agree with giving the medication to such
mm.
young babies. And I started to look for natural therapies, and Reiki was one of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So really long story short, that's the reason.
Yeah. But that's amazing. So you always have been open, let's say, to natural remedies as you grew
Right.
up in a family that was open to that.
Hmm.
And so you have two sons, right? Or
Three sons.
three sons. Oh, very crowded.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
and Reiki helped with the condition of your son that was having.
Yes, yeah. Up until met Reiki, I tried like homeopath and Chinese herbs and
Mm,
strict diet and all kinds of stuff. And so Reiki was more like a last resort.
yeah.
And when I started to do Reiki, especially after learning Jikiden Reiki, I started to feel more confident to give Reiki to my child.
Yeah.
And yeah, but at the first 2, 3 months, I didn't see a lot of
Mm,
improvement. But Tadao Sensei, our teacher, he said, just continue it, do it every day, and whether you see the result or not, just continue it. Then
mm.
after maybe 3 full months, I started to see the result. And in 5 months, entire skin, it was a severe case of eczema. His entire
Oh,
body was covered with open wounds, and
oh.
the yellow liquid seeps out, and it was really bad condition. But in
Mm.
5 months, without using any medication, just by adding Reiki, it's
Ah,
entire skin recovered completely.
this is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Impressive. And I
Uh-huh.
think it's also a great example that it's not about having one treatment and everything goes, it's not a quick fix. Like anything natural takes time and
That's right.
but it lasts long term, right? Like did he
Uh-huh.
ever
That's right.
had this issue again afterwards or
No, it's basically it was gone, but there's a time that the eczema flares up
yeah.
is the Easter, Christmas, and Halloween, and
Oh.
you know what the problem. It's the sugar. Yeah, too
Oh,
much
there you go. I
sugar.
thought like, is that the
Yeah,
sugar?
Easter
Oh.
chocolate and Halloween candies and Christmas treats.
Right. Ah, so
Yeah.
that was the
Uh-huh.
issue. Oh, but
Yeah.
this is impressive, huh? Also, seeing that after 3, 4 months, even though you can be discouraged maybe at the beginning, thinking, Ma, is it really working? And
Mhm.
so, but you kept going. You kept
Yes.
going.
Yeah, one
Mm.
of the reasons that it kept me going is that when he was year and a half or so, he was just starting to
Oh.
speak like in a words or sentence, and
Mm.
when the face was really bad, so I would cover my hands, like hover my hands. I couldn't even touch his face, so I
Mm.
would hover my hands around, and he would grab my hand and bring it to his belly and say "Koko," like right here.
No, this is
Yeah,
wow. Coco
yeah,
here.
and
Ah, yeah.
Koko, yeah.
Oh.
So already kind of knew that it might be with a digestion issue,
Mm.
but then he knew instinctively that it's not the face, it's the
Mm.
belly that is problem.
Which is the root of the issue.
Hmm.
And
That's right.
he's a
Yeah.
baby, and yet he says Coco. It means
Coco, yeah.
he
So
knew.
that's Uh-huh.
somehow intuitively. Like, this is
Yeah, that's
good for
right.
me. I feel good when it's there, right?
Uh-huh, that's right. Yeah.
This is
Uh-huh.
incredible. Reiki is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so it was every day. Yeah, when he goes to like takes a nap and when we are watching movie together, my hands are on him. When
Mm,
he goes to bed, I would lay down with him or I would put him to bed time and whenever, yeah, every day.
Whenever
Yeah.
you could have the hands free.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
great thing also to remember, right? It's not about having the perfect Reiki table or the massage table and you have to do the treatment the way you think it's, like whenever you can, you have your hands that are free, you can give Reiki to others, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I always talk in a classroom too. You don't have to have a massage table.
Mm,
Just let them sit on the floor and you on a chair and just place their hands or together on the couch or
mm.
yeah.
Absolutely. Of course, if you have one, it's always more comfortable,
Oh
maybe
yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to practice, but it means
Uh,
it's not needed too. Like
that's right.
we
Yeah.
don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the way we can integrate it into everyday life easier, probably, to have the
Uh-huh.
reflex to use your hands. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Totally.
Wonderful. So he recovered a part of Halloween and Easter.
Yeah, and yeah, as he grew up, he started to know about his body. So
Mm.
what kind of food will flare things up. So yeah, he would avoid, or he would know the consequence, but still eat, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but at least we know the cause.
Mm,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And so he grew up receiving Reiki from a very young age. And
That's right. Yeah.
does he practice Reiki as well, or what?
He's the only one actually sat through the entire course with Tadao Sensei.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So the
He
stories
has the
continue.
proper certificate and all that. Yeah, he was 13 back then. He was the youngest,
Oh,
of course, in the class.
mm.
He would sit through with all this, you know, elderly
Adults.
people. Yeah, yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
um,
Wonderful. So that was, I guess, one of the most significant stories that you have with Reiki. But
that's right.
yeah, is there any other maybe particular moments that were transformative, maybe for you or on an emotional or spiritual maybe level? Did you feel that Reiki was deeply transformative for you as well?
Yes, yeah, there's so many cases for me, but most significant was that the time that I wasn't expecting that it works for me, right?
Oh, oh,
So I suffered with the PTSD and since 25 years old and it's gone now, but yeah, the fear of darkness or certain things will cause the flashback and the nightmare was the worst one. So I would
mm,
cry in a dream and then I would cry in real, not
mm,
knowing dream or reality, and my husband has to wake me up and it's okay, it's a dream.
mm.
But then when once I started to do Reiki for my baby, and in a while I thought, hey, I don't have a nightmare. So that
Oh,
was yeah. So I'm doing Reiki for others, but without having any intention and not knowing that works for me, it was time to lift off the symptoms.
this is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, to remind everyone listening, yeah, it's not that you're doing Reiki only for others, you're receiving by doing as well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Uh-huh.
this is incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really freeing moment
Hmm.
that you start to put the dot together. Hey, like Reiki's working for this. Wait a minute, I was doing Reiki this and for myself
Hmm.
and for others too. When you start to put the dots, you know what?
Hmm.
Reiki really works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you for for sharing that with us. And if it's only if it's okay for you, of course,
Mm,
I'd like to ask you more about PTSD, that is post-traumatic disorder,
mm,
right?
that's right.
So
Yeah.
I've read a little bit about your story and so your
Mm.
wonderful TED Talk. So, of course,
Uh,
only if you feel okay to share with us a little bit
yeah.
your experience, only what
Yes.
you feel like, as I'm sure it can also help other people that are going through PTSD.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
I absolutely. Yeah, I'm pretty open about my past, and as you
mm,
know, I spoke at the TED Talk and all that. So
that
my
was
intention is to
beautiful.
share my story, so then people who's feeling alone in a similar journey,
Mm,
they feel like, okay, I'm not alone. Yes, I'm
yeah.
totally open with whatever happened to my past.
Mm,
Yeah, so the PTSD was caused by mom's death and who
mm.
took her own life. And I was the first and only witness to find her body. So that's pretty traumatic, right? Like
Extremely
imagine having
traumatic,
one
of course.
ordinary morning and then your mom is suddenly gone. Yeah,
Mm,
so that was yeah, so basically one day we went to the trip together, short trip to close by town together, and
mm.
next day was my mom's, the viewing,
Yeah,
pre-funeral. Yeah, so that was how dramatic my life changed.
yeah.
Yeah. So the PTSD was at that time I didn't know I was suffering with the PTSD because there's no
Okay.
words like that. It's
Yeah,
already like 27 years ago in
yeah.
Japan. Like they might be there, but I wasn't aware of mental illness, so
Mm,
it wasn't familiar for me. So I
right.
was having, the fear of darkness and fear of everything actually, like
Mm,
walking by myself or somebody pass by and make me
yeah.
jump, and yeah, certain things like rope that reminds me like how she hangs herself, so rope
Mm,
or electrical codes or
yeah.
the long hallway because she was there at the end of the long hallway, or
Mm,
yeah, those kind of thing will give me a flashback.
yeah.
Yes, and a certain sound or certain smells will give me flashback. And when you have that moment, then heart will start to pound, and then yeah, everything is scary, right?
Mm,
Yeah. So I didn't know what to do. And the problem is that we decided to hide the truth.
right.
So we decided to say this is my mom had a massive heart attack,
Mm,
and which is a big lie to me because the vision is
yeah,
right there, but I'm talking different story. So
right.
this imbalance between the real
Yeah,
thing and what I'm talking is like really,
yeah.
yeah, it was heavy on
Yeah.
yeah.
As
Mm.
you were also the one who saw the truth. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
How old
yeah.
were you, if I can
I
ask?
was 25.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a young adult, but
Yeah.
mom's still mom, right?
Oh, of course, that doesn't change at any age. I guess
Yeah,
that would
that's
be,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah. So
right.
that was my background that caused the
Mm,
PTSD. And because I couldn't talk about it, so of course I wouldn't go to the counselor or anything. I wouldn't talk to my friend. Yeah. So it was really heavy in my yeah system,
yeah,
which I sort of got used to it over the years, but I still had the symptoms, yeah,
right.
for many
Mm,
years. Yeah.
mm. Well, thank you so much for your trust and for sharing this moment for you with all of us.
Mm,
And
yeah.
yeah, I guess the secrecy is something very heavy, it's very taboo, right? To talk about
Yeah.
it. So the fact that you're talking it openly right now, I'm sure this
Mhm.
is something that can also help others
Yeah.
to open
Yeah.
up at some point.
Mhm.
And yeah, whenever
I feel
we are
all the
ready, of course, because
yeah.
yeah.
I feel all the death is death, whether accident or illness or suicide or murder, death is death. And I want to honor the
Mm,
soul,
mm.
right? And by talking about it and hiding doesn't help, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hiding. And so, at what moment did you feel like, okay, maybe that's the moment that I can open up and talk? Did you meet people that you felt safe to talk to, or
Mm.
what was the moment that you felt, okay, now I can?
Yeah, yeah, so I came to Canada 1999, and then I learned Reiki 2006.
Mm.
And yeah, so during that time I wasn't talking. I only person I talked it was my husband. I got married between that time and my husband, and but I don't talk in detail.
Yeah.
And but when I learned Reiki, and then when was it? Yeah, I learned Reiki, and then soon after I already started to have the friends in Canada, and then just I can't remember what was the beginning, but we started to talk about the parents' death, and then
Mm.
usually I make up the story, like my mom died with a heart attack,
Yeah.
but I felt comfortable with this friend, and then I started to talk the truth, and I
Mm.
thought, I my throat was choking and my heart was pounding, and my friend said, "You don't have to talk if you don't want to." But I said, "Can is that okay if you can just listen?
Mm.
Just you don't have to say anything, but can you just listen?" And so she listened to entire story, and then that was the time that I felt so free. I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, I finally talked the truth." And so that was one of the contribution for me to not have the nightmare. And at the
Mm.
same time, I was doing Reiki to my baby.
Mm.
Yeah. Then, yeah, after that, I thought, okay, I have to do this to free myself from that heavy
Okay.
uh, trauma. Yeah.
Mm.
So that was the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. So by talking, that started to kind of lift up, and by doing the
Oh,
Reiki, so it was kind of a team work,
yeah, that's
helping
right.
you
Yeah.
through the process. And so, how did you? Of course, you said Reiki helped you, but how did you feel it was helping you uh, through this PTSD, and how
Mhm.
it was working on
Yeah.
you? Do you feel about the dreams you mentioned?
Hmm.
Anything? Yeah.
And yeah, so after starting to do Reiki for my baby, seeing the result, I thought, okay, if I could do it, or if I can see that result, then I want to do everyone. So I was just doing Reiki for many people. Like I was basically looking for the sick and injured people. Oh, you're sick? Can I do Reiki?
Right.
Can I do Reiki? Yeah, and every time I do Reiki, my mind clears. Like I'm not caught up with this mind chatter.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I started to notice that when I think about the incident or last scene, I don't have the same reaction. Yeah. So it feels like a memory is there. You can't erase the memory.
Of course. Yeah.
But then if the emotions wrapped,
Yeah.
that's how the flashback and trauma, like PTSD symptom happens. But it feels like the emotion peeled off. So the
Mm.
memory is there, but emotion's not attached. So when I
Mm.
think about the memory, I don't have the same reaction. And that's when I thought, okay, this is good. And if I feel that way, then I want other people to feel the same way, to
Mm.
free from the emotion
Mm.
and memory become part of your story.
Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, that's very deep and profound. That the moment that maybe it lifts, you just said,
Hmm.
and it becomes a memory. Of course, it's still not pleasant to have,
Hmm. Yeah, that's right.
but
Yeah.
it's not that you're living it as if it happens now, right? Like it's
Right.
not
Yeah.
anymore the
It doesn't.
moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you have any advice for someone going through PTSD?
Hmm.
Like, any advice, what would it be? Someone going through. It's hard, huh?
Um,
It's very.
it's hard, right? Everybody is different. My trauma and other people's trauma is different, and if they're yeah, but I would encourage people to just talk, and talking might it's people say it might re-traumatize, but the more you share with the trusting people, the more you it feels like it peels off the layer of the heaviness.
Mm,
Yeah, and once you can detach your emotion from that incident, then you become strong enough to be able to help others. And once you start to help others, then it's going to help you again and again. Yeah, so yeah, people who have the PTSD, yeah, if they can move forward and to
mm,
the point that they can share their story, and then help others, then that's going to help you.
yeah.
And a cycle happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure it's very precious because,
Mm.
yeah, it's one step that seems huge to talk, right? To open up.
Mm.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And of course, with the Reiki, we have
Yeah.
Seiheki treatment, right?
There you go.
Psychological treatment. And that you don't have to talk the whole story, but you kind of have to work on it. And yeah, so of course, with the Reiki psychological treatment, Seiheki treatment, yeah, that is really helpful as well.
Mm,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
And of course, you can receive a treatment from someone else, but it's also something that you can do on yourself, right? So
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
something
mhm,
still a bit sensitive to talk,
yeah,
you can start
um,
maybe there. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good sign that when they start to do the treatment, that means that they are willing to move
Mm,
forward.
yeah,
Yeah. So I
exactly.
think taking one step is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acknowledge and then start moving through.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
So that's, yeah, very, very precious advices. And yeah, thank you for your trust and sharing that with us,
Pleasure.
Mari. Thank you, thank you. And so you were born in Canada, right? Like, and
Yeah.
you then you grew up in Japan. So can you you did a lot of back and forth? That's quite a journey, right? Like, so you grew up in Japan, then at some point you said you went back to Canada, you married there in Canada, and so maybe it would be interesting to talk with you about the cultural
Cultural.
side. Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
could you share with us what the cultural transition have been
Uh-huh.
like for you growing up in Japan and then going
Yeah,
back
that's
in?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course, when I was born, I don't remember. I came back to Japan when I was 2, so I don't remember that time, but the Japan,
yeah.
yeah, and grew up in Japan. And I came to Canada when I was 27 and
Mm.
then lived there for 25 years. So yeah, 25 years in Japan, 25 years in Canada. Yeah, so yeah, cultural difference. Yeah. When I left Japan, I the surface reason was to teach gymnastics to
Okay,
in Canada.
yeah,
Yeah, but the behind the reason is to escape from what I went through.
of course.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And yeah, so escape from that trauma and escape from, you know, yeah, the emotional burden. Yeah. And I didn't want to die, but I felt it felt like I didn't have a reason to live,
Mm.
but I still didn't want to die. So if I don't die, then I have to live fully. If I live fully, then I have to stay strong.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I have to do something completely different. Yeah.
Mm.
Then went to Canada. Canadian culture is very free.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah.
Very
And
different than
yeah, very different. Yeah,
Japan.
Japan is more, traditional, and there's
Yeah.
certain expectation and certain custom that you have
Mm.
to, it's all, yeah, you can live for yourself, but you also you can live you're living for others too, others' expectations.
Mm.
That's I think it's huge. So when
Mm.
I went to Canada, I was like, whoa, no one cares. So that's what I felt. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
How was it? Because of course you grew up in a culture with so many, customs,
Mhm.
regulations somehow, no? Like there's
Yeah,
a
that's right.
rules, sorry,
Uh-huh.
yeah, not regulations.
Yeah.
And so how was it to not have all these referment points? Because of course you think this I'm not supposed to do, this I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, yeah.
How
You're not
was it?
supposed to be late.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's also in Italy. You're supposed to be late.
That's right. Yeah, you're supposed to be late. If you come early, that's rude.
Almost.
Right. Yeah, so that yeah, the time was really yeah, that kind of thing. Like you make an appointment or
Mm.
you visit somebody else's house and from Japanese point of view, you go 5 minutes before.
Of course.
But if 5 minutes before is not the good thing. They're not ready. And they're like, oh, you came already? Yeah. And I was teaching gymnastics, and then
Mm.
one thing that I really remember is that gymnastics, you have to do certain tricks,
Yeah.
and it could be really strict in Japan, and you practice over and over and over until you master that movement.
Mm.
And so it's pretty strict. But when I was teaching in Canada, parents are sitting in a parent's seat
Yeah.
and watching what the kid's doing. And then when the kid said, Mommy, I don't want to do this. Then the mom said, Oh, some so and so, oh Joey, sweetheart, you don't have to do what if you don't want to. And I'm like looking at them like, don't tell him. I'm trying to teach the trick, and if you tell him not to, you don't have to do it, then how can I teach? But that's the that represent that you can do whatever you want, and you
Mm.
have to do whatever you don't want to do.
Yeah, this kind of freedom almost
Freedom,
apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Mm. Interesting.
That's what
Yeah.
I felt. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I thought if I have a children, I
Mm.
want to raise in Canada. That's what
Right.
I felt. Yeah.
So you immediately felt, oh, this is a freedom that
Mhm.
seems necessary, or yeah.
They make their own decision for their
Mm.
life. That's
Mm.
what I felt.
Yeah, so it was a bit more challenging to imagine growing, yeah, raising your children in Japan, for example.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of
Mm.
course, there's a good part in Japanese educations,
Mm.
and but it felt like in Canada, kids are being a kids when they are kids. In
Right.
Japan, kids are expected to be more mature when they're kids. So when they become adult, it feels like they missed out the childhood. That's what
Mm.
that's my personal opinion.
Of course, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
But that's interesting. It's true, huh? You're expected at school, also in Japan, probably to be like perfect. There's already a bit this perfection
Mhm.
pressure from a very
Absolutely.
young age, right? Yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. So yeah, that's interesting.
Um,
Yeah, this freedom and also this it's a bit softer on the expectations maybe.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now come back to
Oh
Japan to
yeah, yeah. How is it?
so I thought I'm going back to Japan, but
Mm.
when I came here, I thought, okay, I'm not coming back to Japan. I am going like it felt like I'm a foreign person.
Right? Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, my friend told me that the way just you stand is different already. Like
Oh, okay.
emotion. I was like, oh, am I being rude or no, 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 it's just like you don't stand like a Japanese lady anymore. And, "Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm,
And because most of my adulthood is in Canada.
mm,
So I thought, okay, I missed out learning certain custom as an adult.
mm.
Yeah. So I had to yeah, ask so many questions to the Japanese people
Yeah.
that I thought
Isn't it
about it.
strange to say that to
Yeah, it
Japanese?
was
Like it's like
strange.
I'm a Japanese person,
Oh,
but
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right, right. And so so you've been giving treatments in Japan too, right? Like you
Mhm.
and teaching also in
That's
Japan.
great. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
you did both in both cultures. And
Hmm.
so I imagine because of this big cultural difference between the two,
Hmm.
um, maybe what have been the most striking differences that you've noticed, maybe teaching or giving treatments? Maybe giving treatments, you will find some thematics that come back or dynamics in people
Yeah.
more in Canada or more in
Mm.
Japan
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
Mm,
So, in terms of the treatment or
mm,
Reiki itself,
mm.
Canada is more open. That's what I
Right.
feel. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So when they heard about Reiki, they're curious
Yeah.
and they want to experience.
Mm.
And but in Japan, the word Reiki is already like weird for Japanese
Yes.
culture.
Yes.
And I understand because I felt the same too when I first time heard that Reiki. I thought, what is that?
Mm.
Is it a ghost energy or
Right.
obake?
Okay. Yeah. Right. Maybe
Yeah,
let's just explain this thing of why we think it's ghost energy or obake for who is listening and doesn't
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, so the word Rei could mean ghost
Mm.
and
Right.
ki. So it's just by looking at it, Reiki looks like a ghost energy.
Right.
So some people mistaken with the getting rid of the possessions
Mm.
or yeah. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. Or there's in the history there's a strange cult religion that's causing a lot of problems.
Mm.
Yeah. Or some religions that just takes the money
Yeah.
and drag the money over and over and mind control and yeah, so often people make a mistake, like misunderstand that Reiki is one of those strange
Right.
religion,
Yeah, yeah,
which
right.
is not.
My family did. Like, I remember the first time I said to my Japanese family I was doing Reiki, they were like, hmm, are you sure it's not a cult? And I was
Yeah,
like, no, no, don't worry. That's not what you
yeah.
think it is. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So, right. Okay. So that's one of
yeah,
the misconception
that
in Japan you were saying. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. So
Mm,
yeah, so that was the challenging because I wanted to promote Reiki when I came
mm.
here and I talk about Reiki, but they're like, okay, what is it? And it felt like I'm being distanced.
Yeah, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're doing
Oh,
Reiki.
okay. Are you okay? Yeah. Yeah, so that was treatment wise, like a Reiki itself, it's different between Canada and Japan.
Mm.
Funny thing, Reiki started from Japan, but then it went through the historical stage that yeah, and make Reiki in a negative category, I guess. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but once, yeah, in Japan, both Canada and Japan, once they receive Reiki treatment, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is really relaxing." And why is your hand so warm?
Yeah.
And I fell asleep. And yeah, so I try not to explain Reiki with the words or language. I said,
Mm.
"Why don't you just try it?"
Just do it, right?
So that's the yeah treatment part. Now the class, the teaching part was
Mm.
very interesting because
Mm.
it's now I'm teaching three different type of people.
Right.
So for start with, I started to teach Reiki in Canada in English, even though I learned in Japanese. The well the not customer or the audience or
The
the
students or
market is in English, right?
oh,
So
right,
I
right, right. Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I started to teach English. So Canadian or American or other ethnicity who speaks English who
Mm.
live in Canada
Mm.
is the first type of group of people.
Right.
Second is Japanese people who live in North America.
Right. Okay.
So I teach in Japanese, but they live in
Okay.
Canada or United States.
Right. Mm.
Third is Japanese people who live in Japan. So that's
Right.
the
Okay. So in
difference.
Japanese, in Japan, let's
Yeah,
say.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that's right. Okay. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So the difference is that those Canadian United States or English speaking people who
Mm,
learn Reiki, their intention or their aspect is for the healing. Oh, this is Japanese healing. This is beautiful. Oh, wow, that's nice. So the aspect is more focused on the healing part, and
mm,
that came from Japan.
mm,
Now, for Japanese people who live in North America, when they learn Jikiden Reiki, they're like, oh, wow,
mm,
like they feel at home while they're away from home. Yeah,
mm,
so be in touch with the old Japanese culture. They're like, oh yeah, 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 that's great. And
mm,
especially Japanese people who live outside of Japan,
mm.
we stand to see the beauty of Japan once we are away from Japan. When we are living in Japan, we don't see it, but
Yeah.
once we are away from Japan and stand to see our home country,
Yeah.
oh wow, Japanese culture is so beautiful.
Mm.
And of course, every culture has a beauty in their own cultures. But
Sure.
being Japanese and looking at Japan, my home country, I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of proud of being Japanese now.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's what they feel.
Yeah.
Now, Japanese people who live in Japan,
Mm.
when they learn Jikiden Reiki, they're like, wait, why didn't I know about this for entire my life?
I love this.
Like they're like, we have a work to do. We have to keep this. Oh, we didn't know about that. And why didn't anyone teach me about this? And not just the healing aspect, but the Japanese culture that's intertwined in Reiki teaching. And when Japanese people be in touch with that part, old part, they're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. And
Mm.
yeah, so it's like I don't know.
Like a
Oh,
confirmation or something like,
mm.
oh, this makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
Wow, that's wonderful. So there are so many. Oh, and now there's gonna be probably another category that is English speaking people coming to Japan to
Yeah,
to learn with you.
yeah,
Right?
or English speaking people who live in Japan.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's so five categories.
Five categories, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine also the cultural difference and the meaning also of the words because it's your language, for example, right? Like
Mhm.
that's another yeah, that's another point of view somehow, another
Yeah.
point of understanding, even though you
Yeah.
can learn that, of
Mhm.
course, but it's interesting.
Yeah. And the Japanese people often they admire that like English culture, like
Mm,
the United States, England, and all that Western culture. And
mm,
so me being lived in Canada for 25 years and bringing back this teaching to Japanese people, I speak about the Western culture and how Reiki is accepted in Western culture. And then I also emphasize the beauty of Japanese culture and
mm.
remind them that this is so beautiful. You're living in a beautiful country. You
Yeah.
need to be proud of living in this country. And then so
Mm,
I emphasize in my class. So they're like, they really seems to enjoy and sort of
mm.
reignite
Yeah.
a big part of their gene, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Their
Yeah.
story, yeah, their
Mm.
roots, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, somehow I've talked about that with Reiko, that is a Shihan in Paris. She's Japanese too.
Oh, okay.
And
Mm.
she was saying also that she felt like after the war, a lot of Japanese people lost a little bit of confidence into their
Mhm.
culture, right? So,
Mhm.
and that whenever, as you said, like whenever they learn more about their own
Mhm.
culture, it's like, oh, it's true. We have to
Yeah.
acknowledge that it's not only about what is
Um,
outside, but also in
yeah.
Japan
Um,
as well.
yeah. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. And so, I will go to the next question. So within the Jikiden Reiki community,
Mhm.
many of us, we see you as a precious key point of connection to, especially for North America, as Ikko Hirota-san for Europe. And so, and you've also organized Jikiden Reiki congresses in
Right.
Canada and welcomed Tadao Yamaguchi Sensei and created beautiful spaces for our community to come together and gather. And so, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much and give you my gratitude for all the wonderful work and love that you put in what you do. And yeah, maybe could you tell us more about that work and what it means to you,
Yeah,
being
yeah,
in
it
this
means a lot. Like it
it
means a lot. Yeah, so it started with like the last thing I want to see is mistranslation
yeah.
what Sensei is
Mm.
speaking. Yeah, and so the in Vancouver 2005, 6, 7, that was 2005 was a Vancouver seminar, first Vancouver seminar. It was only for Japanese people for the first 3 years.
Mm.
Then I started to involve, and then I said to Tadao Sensei that this needs to share to the English speakers. And but he said, well, I don't have a translator and I don't speak English. And I said, I'm not trained translator, but I maybe that thing I know I can translate and can
Beautiful.
we do together? And so that was the
Mm.
beginning.
Wonderful.
So yeah, so as I say, last thing I want to see is a mistranslate, like lost in translation. So but what happened is a Japanese word. One word can mean two sentence.
It's it's hard, right?
Yeah, so but I wanted to pass Tadao Sensei word as accurate as possible. So
Mm.
yeah, so that was yeah, that was the beginning of my work. And yeah, and so sometimes one Tadao Sensei said one thing and I'm still speaking two sentence and speaking and I said, wait, I'm not finished yet." Make him stop and keep talking.
Right.
Yeah. But then eventually I started to be involved with the office and started to do the office work and
Mm.
yeah, so registration and order and any questions from North American regions, I'm taking it. Yeah, and yeah, it means a lot because Tadao Sensei doesn't speak English and so I have to be the voice for him.
Mm.
And yeah, so yeah, I think I take very serious.
Mm.
I take very serious what I'm doing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a bit amazing because it's translating is something that without changing anything, your intention is really to make sure everyone gets what he says. So it's like
Mhm.
the role of a bridge, a bridge
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
someone and someone else or other
Mhm.
people, so that there is this meeting possible, this
Yeah.
understanding is possible,
Mhm.
and this
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vancouver seminar, he was already coming once a week and not once a week, once a year.
Once a year, yeah. Once
Once,
a week would be
once a
amazing.
week, that'd be nice.
We would love that.
Yeah, and I thought it's important so he can come to Vancouver, and then there's many people have an opportunity to become a Shihan and Shihankaku.
Yes.
Once there's Shihan and Shihankaku, it's naturally starting to spread. Jikiden Reiki would spread, right? Yeah,
Mm,
so I thought it's important to have as much opportunity as possible in North America. Yeah, so that's how I continued.
mm.
Then a Congress, North American Congress, is like a extension of the yearly um,
Seminar.
invitation to
Yeah, yeah.
those. Yeah, so by that time I was already doing involved with the Jikiden Reiki about 13 years. Yeah,
Mm,
and I was doing treatment and instant teaching and inviting him, and yeah, and so over those many years, I had two things in my mind. Is
mm,
that one is that if those English speaking region people, if they can understand Japanese culture a little bit more,
Yes.
then they would understand why Jikiden Reiki does a certain thing in a certain way. It
Mm.
feels strict for the non-Japanese people, but for Japanese people, it might be normal. But
Mm.
giving the explanation to the, the English speaking or, non-Japanese region,
Yeah.
once they understand, they're like, that's why Jikiden Reiki does things certain
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to have opportunity to understand a little deeper. So that's the
Yes.
one thing.
Mm.
Another thing is to feel the connection with the Chiyoko sensei.
Mm.
Yeah, because Chiyoko sensei is the one that learned directly from Hayashi sensei and then continued Reiki in her own hands for 65 years, and she was able to preserve it
Mm.
almost alone. Well,
Yes.
she had the sister and brothers, but she continued it and then eventually get together with Tadao Sensei and then created the Jikiden Reiki Institute. But then the Reiki was preserved in Chiyoko Sensei's hands for those years, right?
Mm.
So whatever, like sometimes I hear strange questions, or I get stirred up with what's happening in the Reiki community. Sometimes I see the competition, or sometimes
Mm.
I see the separation between the Reiki community, which
Mm.
is really heartbreaking because Reiki supposed to be unite the people. But
Exactly.
sometimes I see the separation. But then sometimes I get caught up in that. Right? But then when I
Mm.
get caught up with that strange politics and things like that,
Mm.
I talk to Ikuko-san or Amanda Jane or the
Mm.
people who knew Chiyoko Sensei directly.
There you go.
They're like, well, Chiyoko Sensei was just doing Reiki, or Chiyoko Sensei wouldn't think that way. Chiyoko Sensei would just wish that many people can do Reiki. That's the Chiyoko Sensei. And that was grounding space for me.
Mm.
So that's lead to the second reason of doing the Jikiden Reiki Congress is that
Mm.
people can feel the spirit of Chiyoko Sensei. They can feel grounded and they're not, you know, shaken by what's happening in the
Mm.
outside world. Yeah,
Mm.
and then it becomes solid,
Yeah.
not to compete with the other, but when you are solid, then it can contribute to others
Mm.
with a solid mind,
Yeah.
like you can be the rock for other people.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and thank you for the reminder because of course we get caught up, of course.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
human.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
humans do that.
yeah. I want to be better than others.
Exactly.
But
It happens, right? Like it
yeah, it happens.
happens.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And yeah, reminding where it's coming from. It's like,
Hmm.
hey, it's coming from that, coming
Yeah.
from kindness, helping
Yeah.
others.
Uh,
We're not
and
competing
it,
against each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Mm.
about the community, not the
Yes,
competition. Yeah.
exactly.
Help each
Exactly.
other and not beating each other.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Uh-huh.
thank you for creating a space for that, to celebrate that also. It's almost like a big, there's so much happiness to gather together and
Yeah.
to meet each other from all over the world or from all these different cities. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I can come once.
Yeah.
It's a bit far, but yeah. Yeah, that
Hmm.
would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for creating that and yeah, being this bridge between the different
Yeah.
culture and also to help us being
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that was 2019 having the Congress, and that was like a highlight of my Reiki journey. And then
Mm,
right after that, COVID happened, right? So
right.
yeah, I started to rethink about my life, and I'm just turned 50 that time, around that time. So I
Mm,
thought, okay, what can I do? And then I
mm,
felt like I have a like unresolved thing in Japan, and also by that time I'm sort of coasting in Canada. and
Mm.
sort of like is sitting there and people just come. And I'm grateful. I was very grateful that people find me and to learn Reiki or for the treatment. But then I felt like, okay, this is not good for me. I'm starting to build the ego. You
Oh, oh,
I'm starting to sit back and like I don't
yeah.
know, like a landlord or something. And I thought, no, 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 I'm not
I
learning
love
anything. I'm
that.
not growing. And
Mm,
then at the same time, I thought, you know what? I have something that I need to do in Japan.
mm,
And I sort of escaped from Japan. And so I need to go back and challenge myself in Japan. And what can I do?
mm.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I came back to Japan.
Beautiful. That's the next chapter, and I
Next
can't wait
chapter.
to
Yeah.
hear about it next time,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, yeah, it's wonderful because, of course, if there's a part of you that was going away for not running away but like going away for something like the
Mhm.
willing to coming back is beautiful. It's also a sign of healing and to be
Mhm.
able to embrace
Yeah.
everything now.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And so you moved to an island, or are you in, like, I remember seeing
Yes,
pictures and
yeah. It's called Goto Island, Goto
mm,
Island. It's
yeah.
the west part of like a west end of Japan, just outside of Nagasaki. Nagasaki is where
Oh,
I grew up, and yeah, beautiful place.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so the climate, is it a bit like tropical or not really? It's not like
Summertime, great.
Okinawa or
It's not like Okinawa, no, no. Yeah, winter is properly cold.
winter. Right.
Hot summer, cold winter.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. All right. All right. So I have a question that I ask everyone that comes to
Mhm.
Reiki Banashi, and that question is, if you had the chance to meet Mikao Usui sensei today, what would you want to ask him or say to him?
Ask him or say to him. Yeah, so
Or both, huh? Of course.
both, yeah. Yeah, I would say how intelligent he was to create like I feel I'm not in a place of praising him like that, but yeah, but
Mm,
the thing is that the more I teach, the more I don't know. That's what I feel. And then I would like really say thank you so much for letting me fulfill my life with Reiki.
mm,
And yeah, the more I teach, the more I understand that how intelligent, how wisely put the Reiki together. And not
mm,
just the physical healing aspect, but the mental and also spiritual aspect. Just in one Reiki teaching, it covers everything. And thank you so much, Fusi Sensei, for making Reiki available for anyone in the world.
mm,
Yeah. So that's
mm,
yeah, and also I probably would like to apologize for him from on behalf of Reiki community. Sometimes Reiki is taken really lightly
mm,
and like taught lightly in online or things like that, or publish the thing sacred a part of the teaching in the books, and these ones, oh, I was like, oh,
mm,
it's yeah, I will want to apologize for him. He would be really surprised to see. Yeah, but the mainly the deep gratitude what he left behind
mm,
for us. And then I want to promise him that in my lifetime I would keep the way it is. And
mm,
so then I'll pass down to the next generation, and then the next generation can keep the way it is, how
mm.
Usi Sensei created. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. And I also love the apology part, even though, like we're all doing our best, to pass down,
Mhm.
especially with Jikiden Reiki. It's like pass down the way we
Yeah.
receive the information. But unfortunately, other things can
Exactly.
happen too
Yeah.
in
Which
and
is, yeah, which could be, it's okay, I guess.
yeah,
But our focus is not to focus on that, but focus on what we can do.
exactly. Yeah,
Preserve. Because again, Chiyoko Sensei preserved it in her hands by
there you
herself.
go. Yeah.
So if I can do by myself, I might be able to pass down to one person, but then that we already have this community and there's so many passionate people in Jikiden Reiki community. Those I
Mm.
think we can all we together we can preserve
Mm.
it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful message. And yeah, yeah, I guess he's receiving it with the intention and with the
Mm.
gyo hageme.
Yohageme, that's
Gyo
right. Yeah.
hageme. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, passing down the
Mhm.
teachings. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, Mari-san. So we're slowly arriving at the end of the episode, but before we wrap up, is there anything we haven't talked about that you feel called to share with us, maybe?
Yeah, so I used Reiki originally to help my baby, and I had
Mm,
no intention to teach or do the treatment to public. The only intention was to help my baby.
mm,
And yeah, and then I raised all my kids. They're 23, 21, and just about 19. They all grew up with Reiki and very minimum doctor's visit and almost no medication.
wow.
And so that's how we learn what's how intelligent our body is, right? Yeah, so I would love for parents who has small kids or young children, and yeah, and young couples who's expecting babies, or married couples, or people who has a friends, single people, or we all surrounded by the people. And once you learn Reiki and use as a home remedy, it's like it's like a reset button. You know, big trauma, big stress can be small, and small stress can be none. If you
Mm,
have a reset button, and yeah, and for the yeah, parenting, and also people who's looking after the elder parents who's also under the stressful condition because they're caring for the elders, and if they can use Reiki as a reset button, yeah, it can minimize the stress. Yeah, so I
mm.
love those people to have Reiki in your hands, and once you learn it, it's a lifetime.
It's
Right?
true.
Yeah. So just jump in and and yeah, enjoy your hands.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I want to. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful message. And yeah, as you say, you learn it once and then it's there for a lifetime. And
Mm,
it's all in your head. It's not that you need a huge, I don't know, a room particular. Like it's your
mm.
hands. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's
And
right. Yeah, no
this is,
tools
yeah,
wherever.
exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's so, yeah, it's very much going back to your essence and your true nature. And it's a
Uh,
wonderful technique and modality,
thank
right?
you.
All right. So thank you so much, Marisan. And just before we say goodbye, if people want to reach out to you or find you, what's the best way to do so? Do you have a website or you prefer being contacted by email or
Yeah, uh-huh.
yeah?
Yeah, so I'm all over the online. So I have
Yes.
website is called Jikiden Reiki with Mary. It's all in one word, Jikiden Reiki with Mary.com. And I have a Facebook. If you Google, like search Mary Okazaki 22
You too.
is my account, and Instagram Mary dot Okazaki. Yeah, I'm pretty active on a social network.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah.
We can really connect with
Yeah.
you that way. That's how I actually contacted you, right? So
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So Facebook Messenger, or yeah, anything is good through website. Yeah. And Japanese website is mary.okazaki.com.
okay.
Yeah, I have both. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll make sure I'll include all the links on the episode notes down there for who's watching. Exactly. And there you go. So, Mari-san, thank you so much for this wonderful
Oh,
conversation, and thank you for inspiring us and for your trust. And as I said before, thank you for all the love that you put in what
thank
you
you
do.
so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much. And so we'll
yeah.
meet again soon.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
And so, ありがとうございました。
ありがとうご
ありがとうございま
ざいました。
した。バイバイ。Thank you so much for listening. And thank you again so much to Mari. If you'd like to keep exploring these topics with me, you can find me on Instagram or on my website. And if you want to dive deeper or learn more, all the links are in the show notes. I'll see you very soon for another episode, and in the meantime, take care. ありがとうございました。